October 1989, 43 women around the world gave birth. None of these women had been pregnant when the day first began.
How much do you want for it? I have adopted 6 children, gifted with abilities far beyond the ordinary. I give you the Umbrella Academy.
Does anyone wish to speak?
He was a monster.
Everything about our family is insane. It always has been.
Is that my skirt?
Oh, yeah, this. It's very breathy on the bits.
Nice to see nothing's changed. I jumped forward and got stuck in the future. Do you know what I found? Absolutely nothing.
When's it supposed to happen?
In 8 days.
Oh, shit.
There's someone out there who's trying to stop me from preventing the apocalypse.
We need the full force of the Academy.
Bingo.
Yay, sisters. Yay, sisters.
Get up, we're going.
Where?
Save the world.
Oh, is that all?
This is a super spoiler warning. In fact, we're going beyond spoilers.
Good afternoon, good morning, good night, good whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm Ron Stringer, here to hound at you about this Netflix show. It's kind of still new. You had plenty of time to see it by now, but if you didn't, The Umbrella Academy is a good show to be watching. You know, it's Netflix, so you can watch it all from beginning to the end. Season 1. After Season 1 goes off, you'll be immediately waiting for Season 2. This show stars Ellen Page as Vanya Hargreaves, number 7. Her powers is destroying things. Now, something to do with sound. Like, she can take sound and screw up everything. I don't know how that works, but it works. Oh, and also, Gerald Way, the lead singer to My Chemical Romance, he created this. You know, this is his thing. And I'm sure he got a nice check for his creation to be on Netflix. I wish something of mine was on there, but that's a different story, different day. Anyhow, Vanya, her powers, you know, as far as the show goes, she was made to believe she didn't even have powers because her dad feared her and her powers. She was just too strong. Now, I'm not sure if Hargreaves knew about how the world was going to end, but he was definitely gathering these children. Well, yeah, they were children. They were born on this day, the same day, and he went around, around the world to get them. He paid money. He was rich, so he paid good money. I guess good money. I can't say you pay good money for somebody's child, but they do it. So he paid for them. I guess the ones who were willing to pay or give up their kid to him. The ones he got, only 7 out of like a high number, like 48 or 46. He got 7 of them. And they became the Umbrella Academy because of their special powers, except for number 7. You know how Peter treats Meg on Family Guy? That's how they kind of treated Vanya Hargreaves, number 7. Yeah. But we'll get to that. I'm always talking about we'll get to that. We will, though. How they treated her. Tom Harper plays Luther Hargreaves, number 1. He was the most devoted to Father Hargreaves, Mr. Hargreaves, Sir Reginald Hargreaves. He was like down for the cause. Whatever Hargreaves said, he was gonna do. And Hargreaves was, he was a hard ass and a hard ass asshole. And he always had his motives for what he did and you never knew. He always wanted you to blindly trust him. Well, number 1 did that. And he sent number 1 to the moon. You come to find out for 4 years. You find out later on it's for nothing, just so that number 1 wouldn't feel useless. So number 1 thought he had a mission. He was always wanting to go on missions, you know. He was like the Cyclops of the group. Let's go on a mission. Yeah, you know, this thing mirrors X-Men a little bit because, you know, they had their school and so did X-Men. All right, number 2, Diego, played by David Castaneda. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's got one of those little things over top of the N. Anyhow, yeah, he plays number 2, Diego. He throws knives, and I think he used some kind of telepathic power to make the knives move the way he wants them to. You know, so if you run around the corner, he could throw a knife, and it'll get you around the corner. He was pretty good at what he did. I wouldn't say the best at what he did. That's a joke. Anyhow. Emily Raver Lapman, she played Allison. Allison was number 3. She was a cool character. Her powers was whispering, telling people. Her powers were like would be activated by her saying, "I heard a rumor." Like she would say, "I heard a rumor you killed yourself," and you would kill yourself. I can't remember the name of that movie where this girl had a power similar to that. I might find it and do a review on that movie. It's kind of old, but I don't know. At the time, I remember liking it a lot. Anyhow, Allison, yes, right, number 3. She did the whisper power. And she had a family. She became famous after, you know, the whole academy thing. They were like children superheroes. Other children looked up to them. You know, the city was saved thanks to the Umbrella Academy. That's how it was. And they were famous. But she continued to be famous and got into acting and started a family. You know, mom, dad, kid. So one day she used her powers on the kid to make it was a girl, to make her go to sleep. Like, to say, "I heard a rumor you were real tired." And she went to sleep. Dad saw this and he just instantly was pissed. Like, he didn't know whether his life was his or not. Like, did you tell me a rumor? And that's how we ended up here? Like, he thought about it, and that's how he got custody of the kid. They broke up, you know, divorced or whatnot. And she never used her powers again after that. It's kind of sad. But, hey, don't use your superpowers on your children. That's what Dad will teach you. Robert Sheenan plays Klaus. Klaus was a really cool character. He liked to be high. I'm pretty sure it says that on the thing. It should be behind me or beside me somewhere. But yeah, all of the things they tell you, like a snippet of their personalities or their thing. But he liked to be high only because his power was to see the dead. Dr. Hargreaves one day, or Mr. Hargreaves, as when Klaus was a kid, he locked Klaus up. You know, part of his training to get used to seeing dead people. Used to seeing dead people. So he He didn't like it, you know. He was a kid. It scared the shit out of him. Scared him so much that he started getting high. And don't do drugs, kids. So he would do that to drown out the dead folks so that he wouldn't have to see or hear them. He never grasped the hold of his power, even as a grown-up. Because he didn't want it. He just wanted to be. And I don't know, should I say he was a homosexual or not? They eventually, like the show does, they want you to know it. So I guess I gotta tell you in the review that he was a homosexual. That has no bearing on how I feel about that character. I'm not a homosexual, but he was. He was still a cool character. Fun. Like the other guy, who was also, well, I wouldn't call him a homosexual. That guy in the Magicians. I forget his name. Elliot. He's a fun guy. Like, just don't party with him. Even though I like to party, don't party with Elliot. You'll wake up with a sore bottom. Anyway. Next, we'll move on to Aidan Gallagher. He was number 5. Number 5 was the joint in the movie. He was always a kid. Well, at one point, he was an old man, just as old as Father Hargreaves. But after he assassinated John F. Kennedy, he fell through a time warp and ended up right in front of the school, in front of all of the kids. Well, they weren't kids. They were grown-ass folks. But he was there as a kid. He was there as a kid, and I guess he just left to do his own thing. That time thing is confusing. I don't even want to get into it. It's so confusing. Because now that I think of it, how did he? He was there as a kid, and then he wasn't when they were adults, but then he came back as a kid? Maybe he lived a life separately from theirs, because he could jump through time, so he probably aged different from them. Number 5, he was a time traveler. He could do all of that. And time traveler / assassin for the time police. The time police basically make sure what we call fate happens. Not fate. Fate. All of that stuff happened. Like, they were trying to... The Academy was trying to stop the end of the world, but the time police did everything in their power to make sure that things steered in that direction to the end of the world. Like, what is in time must happen. Like, we know Kennedy got assassinated, but how did he get time?
People assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect, but actually, from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
I'm done. Just remember, time police. Number 5 was the greatest addict. And then you have 2 more time polices. After number 5 leaves, or whatever, 2 up-and-coming time police, I guess they made it to... If he was legendary status, they were underneath of him. Cha-Cha, played by Mary J. Blige, and Hazel, played by Cameron Brighton. They were the new time police. They were sent to bring back number 5 or kill number 5, and then they were sent to protect this guy who was basically setting the end of the world in motion. So they were they were told to stay on that task. They really don't get an explanation. They just tell them, protect this guy, kill this guy. But they needed a guy protected who was Leonard Peabody, who was Vanya's boyfriend. You know, in the show, they get together. But Leonard, he's a whole mess himself. He got a thing. So we're going to continue to talk about Hazel and Cha-Cha. They were efficient killers. Well, it doesn't portray that on the show, but they supposed to have been efficient and psychotic or whatever. Crazy. Or at least Cha-Cha was. Hazel, he was tired of that. that kind of life, so he wanted to settle down. Now Hazel, I don't know how this time thing works. Hazel was like in his late 30s, early 40s, and he got with a woman that I'm sure was 60 to 70. But I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say that. I don't know. Anyhow, we have number 6, Ben. Ben died. It is not in the show how he died. You just know he was there, and then he wasn't. When they showed them as adults, Ben wasn't there. But the only person that could see Ben, dead Ben, is Klaus, because that's his powers. Dead people. And he would talk to Ben all the time. And eventually, his power would grow that Ben could touch him and he could touch Ben, and he can manifest Ben, like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Like, I choose you, Ben. No, that's not it. Anyhow, that's how he would do Ben eventually in the movie. And Ben was a great asset to the team. He had tentacle powers. He had octopus powers. You watch the show, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, we're going to talk about Colm Forey, who plays Sir Reginald Hargreaves, Mr. Hardass himself. Now, as I was talking about Leonard Peabody earlier, I'm only going to talk about him to get to the point of how much of a hardass Father Hargreaves is. Leonard, he had I'm not going to say abusive. He got smacked around by his dad a lot. Yeah, he had an abusive childhood. All he was meant to do was get him father a beer in an orderly, timely fashion when he asked for one, which was a lot. Every scene you see the father in, go get me a beer, spow, smack. Go get me a beer, spow, hurry up, spow. And he wanted to get out of that life. He was born on the same day as all the other children were. The 40-something children that Hargreaves tried to get. Did I mention that? He had to buy these kids or persuade the parents to give the childs up. He only got 7 out of a bunch of them. Leonard Peabody was born on that day, but he didn't have any powers. But that didn't stop him from looking up to the Umbrella Academy. They had their own little action figures and everything. I couldn't tell you what time of what year it was. I don't remember. But yeah, he had action figures and everything. And if I remember, he was missing hard-ass Hargreaves himself. So it's a parade for the Academy because, like I said, they were kind of famous. Did I mention that? Yeah, I did mention that. They were famous, so he went to see them as they were, I guess, getting off a mission with Hargreaves, and he jumps out there. He has a suit made up out of whatever. He made it himself to resemble their uniforms, and he go up to Hargreaves and he says, let me be in the Academy. I was born on the same day. I might be special too. No, not Hargreaves. He didn't encourage this kid to you could be what you put your mind to. He didn't tell him that. He told him he was not special and he will never be special and to get the fuck off my lawn. I don't know if he used the word fuck, but he definitely jacked this kid up and kind of just mushed him off the lawn and, crushed the kid. He crushed the kid. He created a villain in Leonard Peabody, which I think is an alias, who goes to create a supervillain in Vanya Hargreaves because of the way she was also treated by the whole team and Father Hargreaves. Like, they shit on her every chance they got to tell her she wasn't special. Don't try to go on missions with us. You're just going to get in the way. Stand aside, Vanya. Vanya, move. That kind of thing. They took a picture and she wanted to be in it, but Hargreaves like, no, just the special kids. You get out of here, Vanya. She was always being crushed as a kid. And as an adult, she got tired of that shit. So once her boyfriend persuaded her to stand up for herself, she damn near kills one of her siblings with her newfound powers. Now, Leonard Peabody kind of helped her discover her powers. For some reason, matter of fact, Klaus, he likes stealing stuff. He stole something that looked valuable, threw this book out. Peabody, stalking ass, got the book and learned all about everything, all of Hargreaves' secrets. And Hargreaves had a lot of secrets. You know, it kind of mirrors X-Men. Charles Xavier held secrets from them, so Hargreaves held secrets from them. And they were devastating to whoever would find these secrets out, especially number one. Pogo, the chimpanzee Butler's hype character. He was a chimpanzee, wore a suit. He was very smart and intelligent, spoke very elegantly, and he was like, everybody liked Pogo. He was never hard on the people, but he did do everything Hargreaves told him to do. I mean, he didn't tell him to do anything weird, but he kept all Hargreaves' secrets, even helped him make some of these secrets. And he's also a chimpanzee, talking better than me, you know, chimpanzee. But yeah, it's a movie based on a comic book. Yeah. But Pogo was alright. I'm not going to tell you what happens to him. And because that is a saying you can be like, you're going to say that. Not Pogo. Yes, Pogo. I talked about Leonard Peabody, played by John Magaru. Oh, yeah. Adam Gartley plays Pogo. Not physically, maybe just in voice, because he's a chimpanzee. Anyhow, Grace is the mom. She comes along because of Vanya. As a kid, Vanya did have power. And as an adult, she doesn't remember she has power because Hargreaves made Allison, the Whisperer, whisper to her that she didn't have powers. So that suppressed her powers along with some medicine that he may have created his damn self. So yeah. So she just went through life not knowing her powers because he was kind of scared of her powers. I don't know if he knew the future or how things would go. And if he knew the future, he wouldn't have did all the things he did, you know, that helped the end of the world come along. They all did. So yes, Vanya displayed her powers, and they was kind of scared of it. Her powers was supposed to be sound-based, but they don't tell you that. Oh, they do tell you that in the show, but it won't make sense because it didn't to me. It might make sense to you, but it didn't to me. But I'm like, comics. What are you gonna do? So her power was suppressed, and Leonard found that out, and he took her medicine. Stopped letting her take it. He broke in the house and took it. Maybe he took the key. Whatever. Took all her medicine, and she stopped taking it. So eventually, she would be able to use them, and he takes her to train. He kind of trains her until she goes off the rails, like, you know, all that built up anger coming out all your life. I'm saying she probably like 20, 26, getting up there to the 30s. So all that time she had this anger built up, and then she remembered, and then she nearly killed her sister Allison for suppressing her powers. And she super kills Leonard. Leonard Peabody, because He thought he could control her or something like that. She wasn't with none of that. Also, 4 years. Also, Luther, number one. He is a giant ape man. He has a normal face, but his body is gorilla, and he's very strong. So he tried to hide that from everybody, but they didn't care. They loved each other for who they were. But he wasn't always like that. He probably was always strong, but one day Hargreaves sent him on a mission. I'm pretty sure he said it was a suicide mission, or he said it was going to be extremely hard. He went by himself because all the rest of the team, they just left. They were tired of hard-ass Hargreaves, I imagine. Number two, Diego, he really didn't like him. So when he was dead, loyal Luther, I think, accused him of killing him. But that's just in the show when you watch it. Loyal Luther goes on this mission and he gets severely hurt. He gets injured to death. And Hargreaves, for some reason, has some kind of needle full of rejuvenating, life-giving monkey serum, gorilla serum, and then he becomes the giant gorilla man that he is. Oh, I keep skipping over stuff. Jordan Claire Robbins, Grace, Mother Hargreaves. I was talking about Vanya to get to her because Vanya would kill a lot of their motherly figures or like nannies. Kill them with her powers or whatever. And if you didn't die, you just left. So Hargreaves, Father Hargreaves, creates Grace. She's not a cyborg, but a full-blown robot. None of them knew this but Vanya, but her powers were suppressed, so she just probably forgot it. They find it out eventually during an attack on the mansion by Hazel and Cha-Cha. Now, I don't know how long this comic has been running, but it seems pretty interesting. Is it a comic or a graphic novel? Yeah, I'm not sure. But what you should do, and what I am sure is the Umbrella Academy is on Netflix for your viewing pleasure right now. So go watch it. After you watch me 2 more times, and then go watch it. Alright, I'm Ron Stringer, and I'm talk to you about something else some other time. Hound.